So friends, it's a very auspicious beginning because when we are starting the Telangana movement classes today, we have a bumper advertisement that 503 posts in group 1, it is never heard of in history. Okay, if Telangana state formation itself created a history, now 503 group 1 posts is once in a century opportunity. That is how I see it. Okay, so it's very important that all of you study well and get some good ranks now. Once in a lifetime opportunity, not even once in a lifetime, maybe once in a century opportunity. 503 group 1 posts. So friends, anyway, coming to Telangana movement is a very important segment because it is a full paper. We have 150 marks for it. It is paper 6 in mains, right? So whereas in other papers, whether it is history or even economy or polity and governance, even science and technology, geography, you might have come across some of that subject sometime in somewhere if you are preparing for competitive examinations. But in the case of Telangana movement, other than your general knowledge about reading Telangana movement, that too, most of you might be young, right? You might have seen post 2000 Telangana movement, if at all, if you are in the universities and other things. So obviously, but the approach to Telangana movement paper has to be academic, while understanding that there is a strong political current to Telangana movement. The paper has to have an academic content of analysis and a very good presentation of facts cum analysis. Okay, this becomes a challenge. So if you are reading for example group 2, ours is a group 1 class. We never mix group 1 and group 2 in our academy. Okay, because the approach differs. But the deep analysis, how do you see? It's not a factual recapitulation what you are expected to, but try to understand the undercurrents of the movement, one of the most powerful movements rather in post-independent history, we should say. And it is the oldest movement for a statehood, for our kind information if you are not knowing. So it's a very interesting paper, but at the same time you will have to study and present very well. What we do is we'll integrate now that the clarity is a bumper clarity about the examination is also there. We have been waiting for some kind of clarity. You have been waiting. You might not have studied for some time, or you are in doubts. You might have already studied and trying to think, whether it will come or not. Yes. Many students call me and say, sir, I am already 42 or whatever, or will I get a age relaxation? Now all doubts are gone. It's up to you now for us to teach well and guide you well and for you to study well. Okay, so let us see anyway. Friends, I just we'll start right away into the syllabus, but before that, friends, as you know, the syllabus for Telangana movement for the mains has been divided into 3 segments. One is the idea of Telangana, that is 1948 to 1970. The second one is mobilization phase, 1971 to 1990, and of course from 1991 to 2014 when we had the state formation. This is how the paper has been divided. Now it is expected that the questions are for 10 marks. There has been a lot of issues on this, but now it is believed that the questions are of 10 marks, and generally each segment will have you will have to answer 5 questions, because there are 15 syllabus components in the segment, right? And 5 sections. So there is a 50% choice that in each of the section you get 1 question, 2 questions, either this or that. It is a risky proposition because when you are preparing or when your approach to subject has to be very serious. For example, if it is a broader syllabus, you can afford to leave certain areas, certain topics. But in this case, see, for example, if you see the idea of Telangana, where the historical background, Telangana has a distinctive cultural unit in Hyderabad princely states, its geographical, cultural, social, political, economic features, Then it talks about people of Telangana. What are the castes, tribes, religion, arts, crafts, languages, dialects, fairs, festivals, and important places in Telangana. Then administration, Hyderabad princely states. So friends, what I advise you is you just have to subdivide this into two phases. The first segment, the first unit in the first segment, the idea of Telangana has to be subdivided into two parts. One is up to the important places in Telangana, right? That means, so I am sure you might be having syllabus, we can also mail you if you're not having, but it's also in the TSPSC website. So see, from historical background, Telangana as a distinctive cultural unit in Hyderabad princely states to important places in Telangana. This is one segment for you to subdivide. You subdivide this. Then administration Hyderabad princely state. From there we have to move on to a different plane. So within section 1, within unit 1 of idea of Telangana, you will have to make into two phases. Definitely from the first one you can expect a question, right? Whether it is the distinctive features of Telangana or the people, Telangana culture, or as a princely, Telangana as a cultural unity, directly they have given it, right, in princely state. Then they may ask about festivals of Telangana. We have a wonderful, today, we have a lot of importance to festivals, right? In fact, before the formation of the state, we all know that the festivals were there, but they did not have that kind of grandeur. They were neglected. But now we see a lot of thing. In Medaram Jatra, which recently concluded, can you imagine, it was a tribal festival. The Hundi collection, 11 crores is the Hundi collection. Even Tirupati Balaji, he also gets almost the same thing, 2.23 crores. That is a kind of Hundi income Tirupati Balaji used to get. So the tribal gods of Telangana had even giving Lord Balaji a run for his money. Imagine 11 crores. It is actually 10 crores 91 lakhs or whatever I was just reading. So like they may simply ask a question on Telangana, tribal festivals or Telangana festivals and all that. Caste, tribes, Telangana tribes they can ask you, because almost 10%, a little over 9 odd percent is 9% or 9.8 roughly percentage of the people in Telangana tribal population, right? So they may as well ask a question in the first segment on the tribal population. For example, we have Andhra tribe A and DH, then we have Lambadas, then we have Chenchu, we have Erukula, then we have Gond, then we have Kolan, then Kondareddis, then Koya, Pradhan and Toti. These are the important tribes you see in Telangana, and of course they may ask about the distribution, what are the importance and all that. So friends, in the first segment they can as well pick up the general question on what are the features of Telangana as a distinctive cultural entity in Hyderabad princely state, because Hyderabad state is very big. It has more territories than Telangana, beyond Telangana, right? Nizam had a vast territory, and Hyderabad state was bigger than United Kingdom. It is bigger than Britain. One of the most wealthiest states in the world, and of course the princely state in the country. So where do you situate, where do you locate Telangana as a cultural unity? Because you are not bothered about the Kannada Maratha region in the syllabus now, and also about the other part. For example, if you see, as I mentioned here, we have two geographical Telangana, Hyderabad princely state can be divided into two geographical things. One is northern and western, where we have Kannada and Marathi speaking people, and of course it has its own distinctive thing. Even it is a Trapean rock region where we have the crops like wheat, jawar and paddy. Of course later even cotton was picked up in this region at the same time. And other region is of course southern and eastern. The southern and eastern, the south and east were the granite regions. That's why we see a lot of rocks in Hyderabad and beyond Hyderabad and Telangana. Granite regions, actually where we have jawar and paddy are the important crops. Right, of course, because the kind of agricultural we have, it determines our lifestyle. So basically, friends, when we are talking about Telangana as a cultural, as a distinct cultural entity, we are talking about this place, this region, the southern or south and eastern part of the princely state of Hyderabad, and that is what we now call as Telangana. Of course, this is not a history class, but let me tell you, the name of Telangana is very old, and in fact, there are various theories. In Telangana history, we are talking about this, but I don't want to make this a history class. But obviously, the name Telangana or Tilingon or Trilingon, this has been very ancient, and from Delhi Sultanate time, we have the use of the word Telangana in a specific manner. So that is how the name Telangana got this kind of identity. And friend, that is this part of the region, the south and eastern part of princely state of Hyderabad, that we are calling as Telangana now. Okay, and friends, the syllabus clearly says, the first sentence itself says, Telangana is a distinctive cultural unit in Hyderabad princely states, a geographical, cultural, socio-political and economic features. And that segment you can actually expect a question, and you also need to understand. As I said, the geography we are talking is the south and eastern part of princely state of Hyderabad, where we have predominantly jawar and paddy cultivating, granite, rocky regions. Okay, then of course oil seeds also have become. And friends, if the northern and western part are essentially Kannada and Maratha speaking regions, the south and eastern part are actually Telugu speaking regions of Telangana. So friends, now culturally it's a very interesting, in fact, Telangana culture has such a beauty. It is actually all encompassing culture. Telangana right from the Bahmani kingdom had never said no to anyone. People come to Telangana, they prosper and go, but in the process, the exploitation of Telangana had also started. That's why we have the agitation for Telangana movement. And how long people will bear? But as a culture, Telangana is a ethnic. It has a strange ethnic touch in it. If almost 10% of the population are tribal, then you see what kind of great impact that it will have on the culture, overall culture of Telangana. So we have a very interesting evolution of culture in Telangana that is called Dakkani culture. This was again goes back to Bahmani time, and also very well continued well into Qutub Shahis after the disintegration of Bahmani Empire by 1520s, 23s, right? So now what is this unique Dakkani culture of Telangana? This very cosmopolitan, that it is a breed of, it is a mixed breed of the Hinduism and Islam. So this composite culture, there is a very good historian called Richard M. Ayton. He wrote on Sufism in Deccan. He's a very well-known international historian, global historian, Richard M. Ayton. He did a lot of research on Hyderabad and the Hyderabadi culture. So Hyderabadi culture is very cosmopolitan. Friends, I will tell you one example. We had lot of issues between Andhra and Telangana, which even led to, but can you show one single incident where the people of Andhra were actually troubled? Absolutely not. Even the kind of bonhomie enjoyed by the Muslim brothers and sisters and the people of Telangana is very culture. It's an ingredient part. The Indo-Islamic culture, which is the hallmark of the medieval Indian society, is clearly seen till today in Telangana. So friends, culturally, what is the main feature of Telangana? Culturally, you have to say there is a sheer ethnic component for Telangana. in the presence of very old and culturally rich tribal heritage we have. Then we have the all-enveloping, all-encompassing composite culture, that is Dakkani culture, where Hindus and Muslims, or Hinduism and Islam, gradually got interwoven to produce what is called a unique Dakkani culture. Even everything, this has a great impact. I would see our Hyderabadi Hindi, it is so beautiful, right? I am in love with Hyderabadi Hindi. You go to Delhi, it is Mahabharat Hindi, Turant le jao, Turant aa jao. Whereas in the Jalde Vai Haula, like this, we speak in Hyderabad, it's beautiful, beautiful, So it's a beautiful culture, language, the mix of Urdu, what we call as a Dakkani Urdu, is a wonderful, wonderful culture we have. And so ethnic component as well as the kind of Dakkani culture we have to see and understand in Telangana. That's a very, very important thing. Then friends, the social aspect is a cosmopolitan society. We do have the caste system, right? Varna system is everywhere in Indian history or Indian society. But friends, the Varna system till today, right from its time in our period, which we are talking about the historical background, let us say Asaf Jahi state period, or even let us say medieval Telangana, whether it is Kakatiyas or even Qutub Shahis or Asaf Jahis. Friends, the kind of casteism, the kind of caste-ridden society which we see in other parts of the country, and sorry to say, even our neighbors, Andhra, that is not there in Telangana. The caste, Telangana culture is unique. It went beyond the notions of caste. Of course, people are casteist to an extent everywhere, because in entire India we have the caste discrimination, but relatively when you compare to other regions, other states in the country, whether you compare to UP or whether you compare to AP, friends, we all know that the Telangana culture is beyond caste. Varna system is there, of course, people are there, but the kind of stringent, the kind of rigid Varna rules we don't find in Telangana society. That is what I have mentioned here as a cosmopolitan. And of course, unfortunately, we do have an underdevelopment parallelly. It is a dichotomy. It is a dichotomy of, you see, the development in urban development in Hyderabad. Of course, in the last, say, 6-7 years after the advent of Telangana, things are changing in the rural areas. We are getting IT towers in Telangana. We are getting roads, Earlier, when I used to go to Warangal, it was a very, very risky road. The name is, the moment we are driving to Warangal, people are afraid. There are so many accidents used to happen, very narrow road or whatever, and the regions where you see Subedari, Hunter Road in Warangal and all that. Now see, Hyderabad to Warangal route, I recently traveled to Ramappa temple when it got the World Heritage Site tag. It's so nice, just can't imagine, right? So now things are changing. The rural face of Telangana is changing. The rural-urban dynamics of Telangana are changing. But friends, historically, in the Nizam period and even in the post-independent phase, we need to understand that there is a kind of underdevelopment in the society. We have a dichotomy. We have some people who are very rich. The rich and poor differentiation in Telangana society is very high, and the kind of exploitation in the form of vetti or by the Doras and the Gaddis, this is a very, very severe thing in the history of Telangana before independence. And it continued to an extent. It continued even after independence for a few years, but fortunately things are changing. So but anyway, when you write the idea of Telangana and the historical background, what we are talking of Telangana, features of Telangana as a distinctive cultural entity in the princely state of Hyderabad, different from what we see in Kannada and Maratha speaking regions. But friends, cosmopolitan, right from Salarjung reforms, of course, many people, Bengalis or whether it is Kayats, they got assimilated into Telangana culture seamlessly. Of course, there is an issue of Mulki and non-Mulki. But friends, at a cultural level. It is not at an opportunity level. At a cultural level, Telangana definitely has welcomed each and every one, and that's a very, very important point you have to remember. So, socially speaking, we find a cosmopolitanism, we find less casteism compared to other regions in the country, including our neighboring state of Andhra Pradesh. Even till today, obviously, anybody who travels to some place of the AP or whatever, even the houses or some localities are not given to only because of certain caste. I don't want to name anybody because it's a very sensitive issue, but Telangana we don't find any of such thing, right? In Hyderabad nobody bothers, whatever we are caste, we do get a house if you want to rent, okay? But cultural acceptance, that the kind of cosmopolitanism is very much seen here. I will send the notes of course to all this, but I am trying to explain to you so that you will remember and write. Okay, very clear notes exactly to the examination purpose. All the topics I will provide. It's a specially written notes, not again I don't give you a test book. It is exactly in the word limit where you will get 6.5 to 7 marks. Out of 10, that should be the target. So if you are getting at least 6.5 or 7 out of 150, that means you should aim to get 90, 85 to 90 in this paper or any paper for that matter. So our target in our academy is actually, my target is to provide you this. And friends, I will run you through tests, lot of tests where I will see how are you understanding and writing. But so this is how you see. Then friends, politically, we have monarchy and feudal lords. Of course, Nizam is a monarch, despot rather. Monarch is a relatively smaller word. We should say it's a despot. He enjoyed lot of power, and even after the subsidiary treaty, whether it is, even there are, Nizam Ali. The Nizam Ali, the person who gave British primacy in Telangana, he is actually the person, 40 years he ruled, 1762 to 1803, almost 40 years, he had 6 treaties with the British. 6 treaties with the British. Gradually Telangana was taken over by the British, whether it was the first to sign subsidiary alliance, all this we will see the history paper. I am not going to deal more of a history here. We are talking about the movement and the approach is different here. Okay, but friends, even after the treaties, 6 treaties, 5 treaties he had in 40 years, we do have Nizam having a very, very strong power, and after 1857 revolt, as a return to support he was extending to British, Nizam also got Usmanabad and Raichur, of course, which were taken earlier to clear the Jews from Nizam. So friends, internally nobody troubled Nizam. The British had a very good relation with the Nizam, and whenever they are come, even Kadjan and others, whenever they come, they used to call him, they used to go for huntings. It was a royal life. Hyderabad Nizam had a wonderful life, royal life, which even King Richard of England might be jealous of. This is how you need to understand. But anyway, at the end of the day, the political system of Telangana in the period of Asaf Jahis is actually it's despotic, monarchical, hereditary monarchy and despotism. We can also say it's a kind of oligarchy because we have a lot of nobles, Paiga nobles and others who also enjoyed lot of power from time to time. So it's a kind of complete kind of monarchy and others which we see. Then friends, we do have this feudal setup in Telangana, and of course all this we need to see in the first paper also. They have mentioned all this in the first segment only, and then of course in the Telangana history also we have to see all this armed struggle and all that. But basically that is a kind of political and feudal thing you need to see there. Then friends, economy, if you see the nature of Telangana economy at this point of time as a distinct entity, friends, this was an agrarian, and Telangana as opposed to Andhra Of course, parts of Rayalaseema is also a troubled region for water, but Telangana did have lot of issues, because of the nature of crops and the kind of terrain we had. But as I said, though there are many crops, the main thing in Telangana is jowar and paddy at this point of time. Telangana economy also will discuss what are the crops and others. We'll be starting Telangana economy by this weekend. Okay, for all of you who already joined. So then of course but then from Salarjung time, that means in the second half of 19th century onwards, Hyderabad was moving on the path of industrialization. In fact, there are two important states in the country, princely states in the country in pre-independence era, that is Gujarat, which is Travancore, and of course, Travancore is Kerala. Then we have Gujarat, Surat. Then, of course, we have Hyderabad. These three states, Kerala, Gujarat, then of course Hyderabad. These are three are developing princely states compared to other states in Rajput region and others in North India, Rajput states and others. So friends, from the second half of 19th century and the first decades of 20th century, Telangana did become a kind of industrialized focus in urban areas, but then there is always a dichotomy that existed between the agrarian economy as well as the urbanism. Even till recently it was still there. It's a Hyderabad centric development is different from a remote village. You say in Bhopalpalli or in Jangam or whatever, Nakarikal or whatever like that. Okay, there's always or Pembat, there's always a difference, right? So friends, this is one segment which you will have to see, and if at all they ask a basic question, because in syllabus there is always one simple rule we have to see. There is a tendency to pick up question from the first one or two segments of the syllabus. So if you see, as I said, the idea of Telangana syllabus, the first unit, as I said, we divide up to the important places in Telangana. 2 questions, 3 questions are likely here. One is what we have discussed, the same thing. What are the features of Telangana as a distinctive cultural unit in princely state of Hyderabad? This you need to write. Then of course, then they may ask about the caste, tribes, religion, tribal festivals in Telangana, and like that we will see as a separate thing. And of course, after that, administration princely state of Hyderabad, then administrative reforms of Salarjung, Mulki, non-Mulki. So this is how you need to understand. So friends, this is the first class for us today. I did have a class earlier, but again most of the people joined, so I thought we'll do this class again. This is the first thing how you have to approach. I will give you all the notes, and from tomorrow of course we'll have the full time, and all those who have joined, if you have any login issues and all that for this online class, you please get back to us, and we'll send notes after 2-3 units. Once we complete entire unit 1, then I will send you the notes. Like that we'll have an arrangement definitely. And friends, we'll also have regular tests. Once first unit is completed, notes is given to you. Every Friday we'll have a test. Now there is no uncertainty. All of us will have to work hard, and this is a very, very important paper. And tell me whatever thing you want to do, I will always be available, and we'll take it forward from tomorrow again. Okay, we'll take up other segments, right? So thank you, and prepare well. All the best for all of you. We'll be with you till you get a top rank. Okay, we'll meet in next class tomorrow.